Hey guys, it's PoxiiPro. Welcome to an Elden Ring guide. Today I'm going to be going over the Longbow, how to get the Longbow, its stat scaling, its playstyle, its moveset, and the type of arrows that it can use. So the first thing I want to talk about is how to actually obtain the Longbow. The first way you can obtain the Longbow is by choosing your starting class as a samurai, and you'll go ahead and spawn in with a Longbow. Or if you did not choose a samurai, or you just want another Longbow, you'll have to wait until you unlock the Table of the Lost Grace. And then you'll go ahead and want to TP here. Once you're here, you're going to want to go ahead and go to one of the merchants with the, I think it's this one over here. And then we go down this way. And there's going to be this NPC, and we can go ahead and talk to them. And this is the Twin Maiden Husks NPC, and then we can go ahead and go to purchase. And they sell a lot of different weapons and gear, but for this one, we're looking at the Longbow. It's going to cost you 1200 runes, and this is what it looks like at base stats. 80 plus 14 for physical, and it has E and D scaling for strength and dex. The requirements are pretty low, 9 strength and 14 dex, so you should be able to use this for the early game. I will say it's a good starting Longbow for early game, but I don't think it is going to be the best Longbow in the game. In terms of the different bows in the game, this one is definitely just for the early game, and there's going to be some better ones that you can find later on. Just to continue to talk about scaling for a little bit, this is what it's going to look like if you do want to level it up. It'll go all the way up to plus 25, and its base damage will be 196. And its scaling will be DD instead of ED, so its scaling does get a little bit better. This one is going to be using smithing stones to upgrade. It starts with Mighty Shot, which I'll go ahead and demonstrate when I go over the moveset. And you can also change its Ashes of War to different ones if you'd like. And you can also farm the Longbow from skeletal archers in the Catacombs dungeons. I'll show you guys a location for this, just in case if you want to farm it instead of just buying it for 1200 runes. I think it is fairly cheap, but in case you want to do the farming route, I'll go ahead and show that really quick. Alright, so if there is a spot that you want to farm skeletons, I think it's honestly just a better use of your time to just buy the Longbow. But if you really want to farm it, this is a spot on the map that you can go to. This is the Tombsword Catacombs, and once you discover this area, and this is where the starting grace is relative to that, just so you guys get an idea. You start here, and then if you travel downwards, you can get to these catacombs eventually. And this catacombs has a bunch of skeletons, and essentially you just want to go ahead and keep killing the Longbow skeletons, and those are the skeletons that are gonna have a chance to drop the Longbow. So we're gonna go down here, and then these skeletons right here are all using bows, or at least these two are. So those are the ones that we want to go ahead and farm. And then you can just reset at the grace after, just like that. And oh, this one dropped a human bone shard, so that's one of the items that can drop from its pool. It's not quite what we want. And then from here we would just run back up to the grace after we kill those two bowmen. Here, and then you go through here. It is a little bit of a tedious farm spot though, because you'd have to kill a decent amount of enemies to get here. And then you'd go back up to the grace. So overall, just recommend purchasing it, but this is another way to get it. Alright, so now that we know how to find it and we know its stat scaling, I'm going to go ahead and talk about its moveset. So this is a Longbow, so it is a little bit slower to actually draw back on when you use it. So on horseback, it'll slow down your horse while shooting, and you also can't do the nifty jump shots like you can with the Shortbow. You can do a jump shot, but you won't be able to get a shot out when you land as fast, so you can't do that DPS combo. This is what it'll kind of look like a jump. And then right now I'm trying to shoot again, and it's just a lot slower than if you were to use a Shortbow. You have the left click, or if you do top left bumper, this is with default controls, you get the aim down sight. You have a roll shot. There's one for if you're gonna jump back and shoot, but all of these are gonna be a bit slower on the draw than a Shortbow. I think there's a sprinting shot as well. Yeah. That is pretty much the standard moveset, and then its default weapon art is going to be the Mighty Shot. So if I hold that down, which is the bottom left trigger, and I use the Mighty Shot, it'll hold you in place, but you do a high powered shot essentially, and it's got really good range, so you can snipe enemies. So most of the time when you're using a Longbow, its general use case is for long range distance, because once it gets close distance, the extra drawback time on this will be a big disadvantage, and you'll probably get smacked for it. So that's why if you're using bows a lot, people will probably switch to a short bow in close distance and use a longbow for long distance to get that extra damage and range. Just for a quick comparison, I'll show you guys the time difference when you're using the attack set of a short bow versus a longbow. So right now I'm using the misbegotten short bow, and if I do a jump shot, it's much faster. As you can see, like jump, shoot, shoot. And then this one is like, oh, this one is like shoot, and then shoot. So it is a lot slower, but you get the extra range and damage. But for DPS, the short bow is definitely a lot better for the close range battles. I guess I can also showcase the difference here. Like if I were to use the longbow on a horse, the horse slows down, and then I get to release. Now, if I use the misbegotten short bow, the horse does not slow down at all while I'm in draw, and I can keep shooting. So those are pretty much the differences between the longbow and the short bow. In terms of the arrows that the longbow can use, it can use all of the standard arrows, like the blood versions, all the different types. As long as it's a regular arrow and it's not a great arrow or a bolt, since those are used for different weapons. All right, so if you go to this grace right here, which is like one of the first graces that you discover, you can go ahead and get the cookbook or the recipe for crafting the regular bow and arrows. Talk to the Santa looking merchant, go to purchase, and then right here, for 500 runes is the Nomadic Warriors Cookbook number 1. And this one gives you the bone arrow fletched, and the bone bolt. So for our weapon, the longbow, it can use the bone arrow and the bone arrow fletched. And then you can also buy arrows from the merchant as well, and these ones are going to definitely do more damage than what you can craft, but it does cost runes. And then in order to actually unlock crafting, you can buy the crafting kit right here from this merchant as well, which enables the crafting from the main menu. But yeah, that is pretty much going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know in the comment section below. But otherwise, until next time.